Here are a few games and accessories you may want to take a look at as something to go along with that PS5. We'll start with some of the basics for really young kids and then move up in age and then finish off with some accessories in case you're looking for some less expensive stocking stuffers. For your young kids, maybe around 5+, or really anyone, you'll definitely want to grab Astro's Playroom. It doesn't have a physical version, but it is free on the PlayStation Store, and it's a really fun platforming game that's nice and short. It's not too challenging, and it's a lot of fun. Astro's Playroom is really special because it comes down to showcasing all of the DualSense controller's really amazing features, like the haptics, feedback, motion controls, gestures on the touchpad, all of those really cool things that's packed into that controller. It really is a very unique experience. And before we move on to the next one, if you haven't already, please hit that thumbs up button. Sackboy: A Big Adventure is definitely one you're going to want to look at if Astro's Playroom was a hit. This is a spin-off of the Little Big Planet series, and it keeps a lot of the nostalgic charm while also making this narrative platform experience a great spot to start for anyone. And what's great about this game is that it's amazing for young kids, as all of the dialogue is spoken out loud. Nintendo, please take note.
The name's Gerald Streetelguff. G'day, Craft World's top wildlife expert. The influence of the uproar is having all sorts of animalorious effects on the local fauna.
And the mechanics that the game introduces to you are given to you in the form of visual instructions with a brief window for you to test them out. Sackboy is also local co-op multiplayer, so you can help out your kids if they are struggling with some sections, or if you just want to join in and have fun because it is legitimately an enjoyable experience. In my opinion, this is probably the best proper game to buy for the youngest gamers in your family, outside of those strictly educational games that are probably better left to be played on an iPad or a tablet or something like that. If we move up the age bracket a little bit, we come to Ratchet & Clank. This new entries into the series, Ratchet & Clank: A Rift Apart, is a perfect onboarding point to anyone who's new to this franchise. This is a third-person platforming shooter, and it is a bunch of fun for kids and adults. You'll blast off through the galaxy and even other dimensions in hopes of reuniting the two titular heroes. This cartoony game and story is compelling enough to want to explore the mysteries of the game, and along the way you'll discover new planets, uncovering these mysteries, solving puzzles, unlocking new armor, and you'll be able to craft some new insanely wacky and fun weapons to use. This game is equal parts serious and wacky and fun for everyone. It does push back in some areas and may get frustrating for some younger or less experienced players, which is why I recommend this for probably ages 8 and plus. Ken of Bridge of Spirits is a wonderful first outing by a new game studio. It's a very beautiful and accessible action-adventure game in the same style as God of War or Horizon and such games, but it's geared towards a younger audience. And while the gameplay mechanics are pretty simple, jump, dodge, attack, sometimes shoot a bow, occasional power-ups, and you pair that with some environmental puzzles and controlling some little creatures along the way, you never really spend too much time on any one thing. And what's great is that the difficulty is scalable for those of you who want an extreme challenge of skills, or if you want to experience the story without much pushback, you can adjust that setting at the start of the game. And speaking of story, it's definitely geared for ages 12+. Not because of violence or anything like that, but because the theme of this game deals heavily with death and grief and finding a way forward despite things not happening the way that you thought they would. Now, this game is beautiful and I would definitely recommend it for anyone probably 12+. If you have someone in your family who's looking for more narrative experience, I think that Bugsnax is probably a good thing to take a look at. Bugsnax is more of a narrative-driven game where you can move through a relaxed pace as you try to uncover the mystery of why an expedition party's adventure fell apart and where some other missing party members are. The odd part of this world is that as you eat funny food like monsters, you gain some of their physical attributes. So you'll spend some time adventuring around the island and discovering new Bugsnax monsters to feed your villagers, as well as running around into the scattered expedition party, and you'll try to seek and help mend relationships and discover what happened to tear them apart as you rebuild this town. And while the gameplay is not difficult, some of the social and relational aspects of this game are a bit more mature than a younger audience would understand. I think it might go over their heads and make it difficult for them to understand the story. So I definitely recommend this to ages probably 12+. Marvel's Spider-Man Remaster and Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales are kind of one game and a half that kind of spans from the PS4 to the PS5. But because the first Spider-Man game kind of got a PS5 upgrade around the time the Miles Morales game came out, I'll count it here. I think the thing that makes these games so amazing is that number one, the story is compelling and fresh. Number two, traversal. Swinging through New York City in this game feels perfect. Just moving from area to area is a fun little minigame in and of itself, and I rarely use fast travel because of it. Number 3, the fighting is simple for those who want to just get through the story experience on the easy difficulty, but it's also complex enough that if you want to master it and take on the extra in-game challenges, you can spend a lot of time upgrading your skill tree and finessing the combat and really mastering it. If you end up liking this first game, then you also grab the add-on experience of Miles Morales, which takes place after the first game, and it also sets up the recently announced kind of conjoined sequel to both of these games, including Venom, and I would recommend for ages probably 13 plus if they're looking for something that is a little bit more mature and fun and action-based. Now we're getting to the stocking stuffers and accessories part in case you're looking for something a little bit more affordable than a full-priced game. If you're going to be playing online, definitely going to want to grab an Ethernet cable to plug into your router. Wi-Fi is just not going to cut it, so make sure you have a long enough Ethernet cable to make it from your PlayStation 5 to your router. And this little battery pack is probably one of my favorite things that I got. Nothing is worse than playing a game and your battery dying on your controller after you've ignored that little icon that flashes for an hour saying your battery's gonna die, but you know you probably have an hour left, but you try and push it and then it dies and you're annoyed anyway. Let's just avoid that by slapping this battery pack on there when that comes on, or you can just play with it on all the time. You also can't natively use AirPods with a PS5, so you'll need a dongle like this Aventry one or something similar to help it connect. And if you're looking for a good all-around headphone that you can use as a proper headset, I personally recommend the JBL E55BT, since it's probably the best all-around headphone headset for the price that I've found. It's a Bluetooth headset that will work with your PS5, but also all of your other devices. A nice little feature is that it also comes with a standard headphone wire that you can unplug in case you forgot to charge it or you want a wired connection. Finally, you can't really go wrong with a gift card to the PlayStation Store or a gift to the PlayStation Plus online membership. Links are down in the description, and those really help support the channel. But more than anything else, leave us a comment, a thumbs up, and subscribe. Let us know what you want to see and share it with a friend. And also check out this video on our best picks for the Nintendo Switch games for young families to play together. Or you can check out this other video for Nintendo Switch controllers that are alternatives to the Pro Controller.